Welcome to the Woodpreneur podcast, the #1 podcast for the business and marketing side of the lumber, woodworking, hardwood flooring, and sawmill industry. I'm your host, Steve from Acres of Timber. Each week, we feature various wood business owners and entrepreneurs from around the globe. We share their stories, paths, insights so that you can network, learn, and grow your own wood business. Thank you so much for listening. Now enjoy the episode. The Woodpreneur podcast is proudly sponsored by Acres CRM. Acres CRM is the wood industry's only customer relationship management software dedicated to helping you automate your sales and marketing so that you can focus on serving your customers and growing your business. You can visit acresoftimber.com to learn more and to schedule a demo. Once again, that's acresoftimber.com. Hey, welcome to a brand new episode of the Woodpreneur podcast. This is your host, Steve. Today's guests are Olga and Justin from Cowtown Wood Company. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
You're like the Woodpreneur couple of the South. Like,
Aw, thank you. That means a lot.
Very cute, both of you. Tell everybody about your business. How'd you come about?
So we started about 2.5 years ago, kind of just doing like small woodworking projects. And then we kept doing that up until the beginning of 2022. And then we kind of decided to get a sawmill. We started listening to the podcast a lot, and Justin had already been talking about wanting a sawmill.
And you were itching.
When I started listening to podcasts, I was like, oh yeah, we got to do it.
You're itching.
Yeah.
Right.
So we took the leap of faith, and in February, we went ahead and ordered our sawmill and got it in March and started milling after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I met Justin and Olga. I met them right after they joined our 6-month mentorship program. And right after they joined, I got to meet them in person, which is awesome. Right. Because I went to Dallas, and these guys are based in Fort Worth. So it was awesome. Hey, why don't you tell everybody about your sort of journey from the point of when you got the sawmill, and then like things started to change. You started to change. Like there was like this intentional shift.
Right.
Like talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost kind of like you start to become more serious, right? Because we got the sawmill, and right off the bat, I already knew, I was a man, I'm going to have to just get on this thing and just tear stuff up for a while. I'm going to have to mess some stuff up. I'm going to have to figure out what I'm doing. I don't come from a long line of sawyers or anything like that. So I'm completely new. And that's what I did for the first month. I was still working full time. And in my spare time, I would just grab whatever I could and just put it on the mill and just see how it runs. Okay, this is kind of how it pushes. This is how this pushes. Cool. And after that, after I felt more experienced with it, we decided, okay, let's start, taking on customers and stuff like that. And excuse me, it was almost instantly that we went from hobbyist to I had to quit my job. I mean, the week of us going live with it, it was appointment after appointment after appointment. And it was also overwhelming, honestly. I wasn't, I wasn't ready for the full swing to happen that fast, but I'd say
it was intentional though. It wasn't by accident.
Right. Yeah.
It was all planned.
No. I mean, we put everything in place to make it happen that way. Right. Especially after talking to you, and you said the same thing, like, dude, once you get that sawmill, just practice, just mess around with it, start looking stuff up, make yourself into a master sawyer, and I did. I just took the advice, took it slow, did everything the wrong way so I could learn how to do it all the right way. And and then once we put everything out there, everything out on the internet and all of our ads and like the Google stuff, the Google ads, putting up our website,
our social media.
As soon as it hit, it went 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So then once that happened, we kind of had to flip our own switch. Now I had already intended on quitting, but I just didn't intend on it so quick. But once we did, we realized immediately, like, okay, dude, we got to be serious. We're not hobbyists.
Yeah.
this is 100% now. So we really had to start getting stuff together. We turned it, like you said, it was a very intentional switch that we flipped from going from hobbyist, semi-professional to, what we are now, where we're busy every day pretty much.
Well, the other thing that I like to say too is, and I haven't said this in, I don't know, maybe a year, but like, you can't grow without having a partner right next to you, and your partner in business is could be your partner in life as well, right? And a lot of times partners are not necessarily in the business, but Olga, you earn just as much as Justin, right? Like you're out there working. To talk about like the dividing up of responsibilities, because I think that's really crucial, right? Like, I talk to a lot of woodpreneurs, and one of the things that they're like, their partner, their spouse is like separate outside of their business, and so oftentimes they got to go like, I can't make this investment, I need to talk to my partner. Like, but if your partner was there, if your spouse was there with you, right, making these decisions and knowing that like you can, you're unstoppable. That's why I love you guys, because you're both in this business. Like, you're about building this business, this family business together, right? Can you talk about your role, Olga?
Yeah. So, I do some of the woodworking stuff. I do mostly like our smaller projects, like our charcuterie boards and smaller things like that. And I do more of like the building side, but because I still work full time, most of my role is doing all the admin stuff, the social media, the invoicing, the accounting, most of like the behind the scenes type of stuff. So because a lot of that, it takes too much time for Justin to have to deal with it when he's trying to mill. Like, he doesn't need to be trying to mill and trying to invoice somebody and trying to also reach out to somebody on social media that messaged us, or someone that's calling his phone at the same time. So a lot of that kind of stuff, a lot of the communication with the customers and things like that, I handle a lot of that. Just because it makes it a lot easier on both of us. And then that way we can both be in the know of what's going on with the business.
That's cool. Very cool.
Crazy helpful.
What was it? What was this sort of pivotal point in the beginning that you think that really accelerated? Was it the mindset? Was it like the commitment? Like, what was it that really spurred it for you? And I'm looking back in our DMs, and it looked like June was a good month for you, right? Yeah. And July, right? Did you hit similar numbers in July, or?
Oh, we almost doubled in July.
Woo, let's go.
I didn't even realize how much we had done in July either. It was her. I was like, oh, well, we might have done this, and she's like, actually double it. It's like, dude, are you kidding me? She's like, yeah. I was like, God, so I didn't even realize what we were doing.
Which is why I do the accounting.
This is why she does that.
What August? Same or?
August was about the same, a little bit under July. July was definitely our biggest month. But September is like getting up there to be close to what July was. So
okay, so talk about that moment where you decided that you wanted to work with me.
So as I mentioned before, we already had been listening to the podcast, right? So, and I know it's going to sound super corny, but I even told Justin, I was like, if we get this sawmill, I was like, besides getting, help from different people that are like sawyers and stuff like that, and networking, I told him, I was like, my goal is to be on Steve's podcast.
I know,
but that's not the only reason why we did it. No, we were fully aware that because we started as hobbyists, that we didn't know everything about milling. We didn't even know everything about like the woodworking, like arena, basically all the way, right? Like we should have. We did have a big network already of a lot of woodworkers in our area and some lumber distributors and stuff like that, but we didn't really have like a true hardcore network. And, you know, and then listening to the podcast, there was every single episode that I listened to, I always heard something that I was like, oh, we had to apply that. Oh, we're going to have to apply that.
Yeah.
And then there were like small things that before I even got the sawmill that I had already started kind of applying to our business that I had heard you give tips on. So I was like, well, if it's already working and we're not even working with him yet, I'm sure that he could give us more knowledge once we do start working with him. So, and again, it was just because I think that part of being a business owner, you have to realize that you don't know everything. And you're never going to know everything. You can read all the books, you can do as much studying as you want, but you're not going to know everything. So we both had decided that it was in our best interest to join the group and really submerge ourselves in the Woodpreneur lifestyle, basically, right? And to like really learn from other people, because not only did we learn a lot of stuff from you, I mean, there was other sawyers in the group, there was other woodworkers in the group that we were learning from while they were learning from you as well.
Yeah.
I loved how, and I can't, you know, without knowing you, there's like an intenseness and focus about both of you. Like you're kind of not here to play. You know what I mean?
A little bit. Yeah.
Only
a little bit.
A little bit. But I mean, I don't know. I loved the when we first started working together, you know, we created your plan, like your marketing plan, right? Like on what to focus on. And I remember you were like, we're doing this, but we're doing this. And you're like, but we really want to do this. And it was like this, it was like, you know, the hobby, the rental thing, right? And what did I say to you about that?
You told me no.
Yeah.
No, you said
Not
that
yet.
Justin needed to become the master sawyer, and that I needed to be like a hardcore woodworker, networker, and like the social media expert, basically. And that adding a whole nother thing to it was just gonna bog us down, basically.
Yeah, I'm so glad we didn't.
Yeah.
We'd have been so busy. I mean,
The focus, right? The
how
focus,
busy
isn't it
we
about
were.
the focus?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Because I mean, we were being able to focus on the sawmill and on the woodworking stuff. We were able to have good months, and every single month be able to grow thus far.
So the other thing that I would probably say is that like you quickly realized that with the addition of the mill and the vision for the company, you had to make a hard decision about like changing your name, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Right. Talk about that process and like how we kind of came about.
So before we were Little Pine Workshop, and you know, we liked the name. There was a lot of like thought and meaning behind why we picked that name. But then when we were talking about it, and then in talking about it with you, we kind of realized that it sounded cute, you know, and it's not like I could picture it being like a little shop in a town square, but I didn't picture Little Pine Workshop going to, you know, growing into something ginormous or gigantic. It's not who I would go to say, hey, I want 20 logs milled, or hey, I need like 1,000 board feet of lumber or whatever. Like that's not who I would have gone to. So that was something that we talked about with you, and we are very proud Texans, and we love Fort Worth. And so you helped us figure out a name for ourselves, since Cowtown is a nickname for Fort Worth. And and we just rode with it. And we even asked you too, like, do you think it sounds like too big for who we were? But we also learned, like, you know, we can grow into it.
Yeah, that's what we really want, a name to grow into, you know, because
I know it's so cool. Like your brand is so cool. It's so tight. Like I love it. You know, I almost feel like I you know, in a couple of years, I see a, you know, a retail location.
Yeah.
Dude, I sell more Cowtown Woodco apparel than I think I do woodworking stuff. Dude, so many people always wanting the hats and stuff like that, man.
You gotta get a trademark now.
Yeah.
We're looking at that now.
I have an attorney if you want one. So
Perfect.
yeah, you got to get it. You got to get it trademarked now, so that like it's yours forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man. What why should people work with me and get mentored or join the group mentoring? Because so the originally what happened, like in full transparency, like it was a year-long program, but we found naturally that people, they get what they need after 6 months. And so like without fail, you guys ended the mentorship at like your height at 6 months. Like you got everything, which is awesome, because now the program is 6 months now instead of a year. But
Yeah.
like I have to say, I'm so freaking proud of you guys. I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
We appreciate
It warms my heart literally to know that like when we first met, like within a few weeks you quit your job. And like even for me as like a mentor coach, I'm like, and that's why like, but some of my like coaching, mentoring to you was like, do this. Like, remember, I felt like I was like in your face trying to be like serious, because like I didn't want you guys to like mess up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got kind of the same level of intensity whenever it comes to that kind of stuff, though. Like that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I didn't want, what, dude, I love joking. I can't smile enough and I laugh at everything, but like whenever it comes to like work stuff, dude, we got to be able to flip the switch. And I love that you always do that too. I mean, we'd be in those meetings, you'd be jaw jacking, having a good time. And it's like, okay, here's what I want you to do. And everybody gets stone faced. All right, cool. And dude, and we're just,
Absolutely.
Just give it to me. You don't have to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Tell me what to stop doing. Tell me what I need to start doing. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, I'll call you and let's try something else.
For sure.
It was good. I like that.
I definitely feel like, we learned a lot of different things. We learned a lot for our marketing, because even though I was on social media a lot, I didn't know what to do as much, like all the different stuff that you taught us. But then also I feel like even though it's not a network all like local, I feel like you really helped us get into a network, like a US network almost, and it was awesome, because I mean, we have through the program, we created some really awesome friends that we could bounce ideas off of. We could ask questions, and the same thing with you, we can go and like ask questions. And we did appreciate that, even though sometimes we didn't get the answer that we always wanted, right? Like with the rental thing, we appreciate that no sugarcoating. It was,
right,
we need your business to do well, and this is how you're going to make it do well, kind of thing, and you had a lot of good things to add every single time that we met, and that you told us what to do, kind of thing. So
awesome. So tell me, what's one thing that I can help you out with right now? One thing.
So I think there's a lot of, we have been growing a lot, right? And every month has been going really well, but there are a lot of things that we still need, equipment wise. And so I guess it's more of a financial question, because we started the mill this year, we can't really go to a bank because of the business credit hasn't existed that long. So they basically told us, you got to have like 2 years worth of business history to get it.
Yeah.
What would be some other avenues that you would suggest of us trying to get equipment? Because
what's the next piece? You need a slab flattener or a kiln?
Well, we do need those as well, but mostly what we need is like a forklift or a skid steer. Because right now we do everything manually with a winch and sheer muscle of
So this is we could talk more offline about this, but I would see about borrowing, renting, borrowing, stealing as much as possible. Like, you know what I mean? This is like 80% of your time until you get to about $1 million is about perfecting your sales system. All of 80% of your time should be spent on marketing. So for me, I look at like, a skid steer, forklift, whatever. how much can you get one for? 15K, 20K, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That to me is like, I would equate that to like lumber. How many stacks of lumber do I need to pre-sell in order to do that? Right. Right. Like I'd go to people and like, listen, I have all this lumber that's going to be air drying. And in your mind, you're like, this is my skid steer fund, and go out and friggin' sell lumber, sell logs, and then just start stashing away. I'd also look for, if you need to, right? But you got to make sure that the sales system is there. Like put half down, put the other half on a credit card, go to Chase. Get a business credit card. I know that you can get one for 0% financing, right? Like 0% APR. Get one of those, put it on so you don't have to like pay half cash, half on a credit card. And then you can use those points from those credit cards and then pay it off later. But like there's different ways that you can hack getting the equipment that you need, but literally look at it as a sales problem. Use the bank loan for something that that when you get it, you have money waiting for you. Don't use it on these little things. Use it for the big stuff.
Okay.
Where it matters. Is that helpful?
Yeah. What about like grants and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. We talked about that too, for sure. Business investment grants, equipment loans. Yeah, like all of those sorts of things. Make sure those are fine because those are like low cost. But like if you're going to go out and get a bank loan where, that's different. That's different. Look at equipment loans, look at small business grants. The fact that you're Latina, there might be some minority small business owner type grants, especially with manufacturing type businesses. You probably have a shoe in there right there, right? And so I would do that. Grants, and equipment loans, minority small business, and then go out and sell.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So how can people get in touch with you? What's your website, Instagram?
Our Instagram and our Facebook is Cowtown Woodco. And then our website is www.cowtownwoodco.com.
Yep.
And so that's how you can get a hold of us.
Nice and simple.
Guys, I want to say thank you so much for entrusting me with helping to mentor you in your business. I am so proud of you. The fact that you double your revenue and you hit 5 figures within your first year of your business is such an accomplishment. And you know that you can count on me to support you in your business. All right. When you hit the 20s and 30s, come back to me because I could get you to the 40s and 50s. All right.
I got
Yeah,
you.
man. It's all been a good time. Like you said, about 6 months into it, we didn't leave you because we hate you.
No. I know. No,
Man,
it's 6 months is enough time for you to go and
soaked
spread
it all
your wings.
up, man. It was like,
For
dude,
sure.
and then I almost felt like we were a bit, like you said, it's like too intense. It's like, well, dude, like, is everybody else getting all this? We're taking down notes and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I soaked up every single bit of it, man. It was awesome. It was a great experience for us.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We definitely appreciate all of it.
Heck yeah.
Thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother.
Thanks.
All right,
Bye.
bye. Thanks so much for listening to the Woodpreneur podcast, the #1 podcast for the business and marketing side of the lumber, woodworking, hardwood flooring, and sawmill industry. If you like what you heard, please give us a 5-star rating and review. You can also tap into our community by visiting woodpreneurlife.com. Once again, that's woodpreneurlife.com.